Which one of these lines do you think is longer? I'm assuming most of you would say that it is the one in the background. But it is not. Actually, both these lines are of the same size and we perceive it differently because the parallel converging squares in the background are decreasing in size, making one of the lines look longer than the other. This is the Ponzo illusion, and it uses geometry to distort our sense of depth. Now, have you ever felt your energy increase drastically when in open fields compared to when in closed and air-conditioned spaces without knowing why? Or have you ever stepped into a new building and desired ardently to be back home than ever before? These are tricks that space plays on us. During the summer holidays, I walked into a golden lit air-conditioned restaurant. The first thing that struck me was that I had seemingly grown taller. I was towering over the low tables to 6 feet. I was convinced that no one would ever call me short again. That was that. And a week later, into the new class of grade 11, my peers sat around the table deliberating nicknames for each one of us. Names rolled by Max, Silk, and so on until it was my turn. I stood to slink off when suddenly one of my friends, after literally sizing me up, said, "Hey Shorty, where are you off to?" My friends' faces shone bright with excitement. They just found the perfect pal name, Shorty. That seemed wrong. I couldn't be short. I'd grown tall to 6 feet in the holidays. Well, that's what I thought. But to my devastation, I hadn't. Why then did I seem to have grown taller? I discovered it wasn't me, but it was a low ceiling and tables at the place that had masterfully distorted my sense of height, just as the Ponzo illusion did to the lines. So my moment of glory was after all just a well-designed illusion. All of us have experienced this phenomenon in our lives, but none of us are aware of its effects. Parks are designed open to encourage communication, whereas libraries are sectioned to promote silence. This is the impact space has on us. New York, for instance, with its grid-like street pattern, is relatively more navigable, whereas London, with its patchwork of neighborhoods all oriented differently and the Thames flowing through the middle, is absolutely confusing. Kate Jeffrey, a behavioral neuroscientist at University College London, says that to feel connected to a place, you need a sense of direction. This is the impact arrangement has on our minds. Now imagine watching a horror film with all the lights in the room turned on versus just the light from the screen. I'm sure the latter would be much more intimidating, right? This is the effect lighting has on human perception of different things. Sometimes we feel more burdened with thoughts and emotions while in a room with dark wall paint, and completely opposite in a lighter colored room. That is our brain tuning differently to different colors. The human brain responds uniquely to such small differences in space, arrangement, lighting, color, and even sound. This is neuroarchitecture. This is what made me feel 6 feet tall in the restaurant back then. Neuroarchitecture integrates neuroscience with architecture. It focuses on how individuals interact with built environments. Spaces that aren't thoughtfully designed in terms of lighting, color, acoustics, and arrangement can not only increase but also induce stress. A study by the National Institute of Health states that urban children are at a higher risk of schizophrenia, depression, and chronic anxiety. Another study conducted by the National Center for Biotechnology Information points out that at any given time, 50 million Indian children are likely to be suffering from various mental issues. Andreas Mayer, a neuroscientist at Heidelberg University, conducted research which proves urban living can alter the structure of the human brain, affecting cognitive function, particularly planning, working memory, and self-control. Another study, also conducted by the NIH on the prevalence of myopia in India, indicates that by 2050, 48.14% of urban children below the age 15 will be affected with nearsightedness. Well, why do such problems occur in the urban population? There are a plethora of reasons. Primarily, most of our houses are closely built with dark and faulty interiors and without adequate openings to let in fresh air and sunlight. Additionally, WHO conducted studies prove that the color temperature of artificial lights could affect sleep quality and human functioning. Also, most of our houses aren't acoustically designed, meaning internal and external noises greatly affect the inhabitants, causing stress. According to the European Acoustics Association, more than half of the urban European population complained of neighborhood noise, the major reason being inadequate soundproofing. Statistics say that only 6% of all houses globally are designed by architects. The rest of the houses, therefore, lack the characteristics which promote overall mental and physical well-being in urban dwellers. This issue is identified as concerning by the UN and WHO that building quality and eco-friendly homes to improve standards of living is one among their many SDGs. Now that we know about this, what do we do? Today, in hot pursuit of beauty and elegance, we often neglect the very aspect of comfort which molds our well-being. We have begun mending our ways and shifting to much more health-promoting designs, but this isn't enough to match the pace at which the rest of our surroundings and communities are degenerating. More so, given that 64% of our population will be urban by 2050. We need to change not for good, but for the best. And small steps can lead to great changes. We can improve by keeping in mind the triad, nature, sound, and light. Embrace nature by incorporating biophilic and biomorphic designs. Grow indoor plants which improve air quality. Mimic contours, textures, and patterns in nature. And most importantly, use organic construction materials like straw bales, cob, reclaimed wood, bamboo, and ashcrete, among others. Properly soundproof homes using eco-friendly acoustic panels made from wood wool, moss wool, and other fabrics. Seal gaps of doors and windows, and increase furniture and floor mats to add mass and absorb noise in already built rooms. Manage lighting by providing adequate window spacing and make sure you choose the right lights. Warm to neutral white lights aid in relaxation and are therefore best suited for bedrooms and lobbies, whereas cooler tones stimulate senses and are perfect for workrooms and halls. Also, always go in for soft-toned wall paints to help you feel more calm and composed. It is important to understand the significance that buildings play in our lives, from providing shelter and holding memories to shaping our minds and health. Let us keep in mind the words of Jim Rohn. Whatever good things we build end up building us, and build a better world, not only in style, but also in comfort. Thank you.